Hey there, Improv Tipsters. Well, today I am answering a question from Fad23. The gist of Fad's question is this. Some of my players are developing crutches, like always going blue or always being southern or whatever. How does an improviser sort of find new sources of inspiration to play differently? Now, Fad, this is a great question, and I think the longer that we're in improv, the more sort of tempting this sort of crutch situation is. We find what works for us, quote unquote works for us, and we can lean on that thing. But I think if we want to be not just good improvisers but great improvisers, I think we need to keep challenging ourselves, and that's what I'm going to help you with today. So first of all, I think there's three instances where people lean on their crutches or use their go-to thing. And they are these. One, when it's appropriate. I'll talk about that in a second. Two, when they're panicking or the scene is failing. And three, when they're being lazy. Okay, we'll talk about those. So let's say your go-to thing is you always are southern or whatever, right? So sometimes that is appropriate, and that's okay. And we just need to sort of say, okay, great, this is an appropriate time to do it. Like anything, and when it's appropriate, yes, then it's not a crutch. It is a choice. Okay, so that one out of the way. Now let's talk about when they're panicking or when they're failing. I am a really strong believer in the idea that people will do what they do best, or what they feel works for them when the chips are down. When the chips are down, you're gonna play your strongest card. And if that's going blue or southern or whatever, that's what you're gonna do. So I think first, Fad, we need to look at the scenes where these people are doing these things. Are they in scenes that are failing, that are struggling, and so they seek to amp it up by using their big cards here, southern or blue or whatever that crutch might be. Oftentimes that is the case, and they have just sort of lost their way a little bit, and they're not using the process anymore, right? As Dave Rosowski has said, and I've quoted many times in these videos, our product is the process. Our product is the process. People come to see it all work out, and if we're not following the process, then we're not doing it, right? So first, I would look at the scenes. Are they yes-anding each other? Are they playing the relationship? Are they giving gifts and playing the gifts they're given? Are they affecting and being affected by each other? If those things are not happening, then people tend to cheat or shortcut and try to use these crutches to sort of overcome or fill in the gaps or gloss over what are basically just flaws in their technique. And this happens to everybody. I've been doing this for a while, and the teams that I coach now are not usually beginning teams, but every once in a while a team will come to me and they'll want to coach, and usually their team's been at it 7 to 10 years and they're a little bit lost in their way, and I always take them back to basics, always take them back to yes and the relationship and those things, and invariably they always sort of have this reaction like, oh yeah, right, the basics. And once they're back on that basic track, then all the other experiences and all the other power that they have comes back available to them in a more productive way, because now they're playing back on those basics that underpin everything that we do, right? And so the third situation where people play their strong card or play their crutch or whatever is when they're being lazy. And this happens too. I mean, you've just been in it for a while, you found something that works, it's the path of least resistance, when you're Southern Joe or whatever, you get your laughs and that's it. But I think that this really is partly on the player to transcend from good to great. Like if you just want to be a good improviser, you can probably get by with that. But I don't think that improvisers generally are those people. I don't think improvisers are just satisfied with being good. They want to be great. They want to go on to that thing. And I encourage you towards that. And I've been doing this for a few years, and even now my work will plateau out a little bit, so where do I look for new inspiration, or how do I sort of stretch myself to play more and different? Well, first, in this video here, ding ding, I talk about the do's and don'ts in improv. Like, what is it that I do want to do in my work? What is it that I do want to see in my work, right? And I'll really focus on that, and I'll do it by giving myself, or if I'm coaching a team, giving different members of the team challenges. Tonight, I really want to work on using the space, or tonight, I really want to work on focusing on my partner. Or tonight, I'll say to a team member, I really want to see you really work on editing. I want to see you editing tonight. Or I want to see you, playing a character you haven't played before, or playing a different age, or playing, some other thing. And I give them that challenge. So rather than saying, don't do that, don't go blue, don't be Southern, which I think is blocks us and blocks our creativity, I will encourage them in the direction that I want them to go. Right? And I'll say, hey, try this on for size, or strive towards this rather than striving away from that. Right? I think this is a great thing for a great reason for having a coach. This is one of the great things about having a coach, is that they can look at the big picture and give these challenges and give these this feedback. Another thing that I recommend is, sometimes, believe me, no one loves improv as much as I do, for sure. But I think it's very easy to just fall into this improv vortex and just, improv, and you just sort of are, that's your whole world. Right? But I think that as artists, and improvisers are artists, I think as artists we need to seek outside of ourselves and outside of improv for other inspirations. You know what I'm saying? Music or books or TV or movies or stand-up or, or other improvisers even, I'm saying, Del used to say, you call it plagiarism, I call it research, right? And for me, what that sort of meant to me was I go to shows, right? I experience different things and let that sort of infuse or inspire my work. If I'm at a show and I see someone who does something really great, oh my gosh, that guy's really great at transformation, or that guy really physicalizes a character, or that girl's really awesome at using this space, or she makes really delicate, insightful choices. That will, inspire me. Like, you know what? I'm going to try to do that. And at my next show, I'm going to try to do that. I'm not trying to copy them, but I see something in their work that resonates with me, that inspires me to make some facet of my work better. I think that's how we use inspiration, right? I don't want to sort of quote a stand-up routine while I'm, doing improv, but I can think of like, oh wow, that guy's got a really interesting point of view on this or that, or he's got a really sort of personal way of doing it. Maybe I'll try that in my work. And I think we have to try different things on. Some things fit us, some things don't, but we don't know until we try. And it is that process of experimentation that eventually, sort of evolves into our work and our voice. Also, like in this video, ding, 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 I talk about that. So, I invite you to look outside of yourself and look outside of improv for other inspirations. Okay? Fad, I hope that helps. If you are watching this video and you have some great way or some other advice for getting students or players to get out of their crutches or their sort of comfort zones, please put them in the description down below, and I'll see you next week. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Please leave me a comment down below and tell me what you would like to hear an improv tip about. And also, please subscribe and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All the links are in the description down below. Thanks.